Manila City is the capital of the Philippines and the second most populated area in the country, despite of a total area of only 42.88 kilometers squared. The population density of the city is roughly 42,852 people per kilometer squared, making it the most densely populated city in the world to date. The absolute location of Manila City is 14.60 degrees north and 120.98 degrees east, while its geographic boundaries are Navotas, Caloocan, Quezon City, San Juan, Mandaluyong, Makati, and Pasay. In addition, Manila Bay also encompasses the city on the east coast and has been subject to numerous typhoons in the past. Furthermore, the city of Manila is bisected by the Pasig River, which divides the city into 16 administrative districts and with 6 congressional bodies. The first half of the city located above the Pasig River are Tondo, Santa Cruz, Sampaloc, San Nicolas, Binondo, Quiapo, San Miguel, Santa Mesa. While the second half below the river are the port area, Intramuros, Ermita, Malate, Paco, San Andres, Pandacan, and Santa Ana. To continue, a land use map provided in 2017 gives a detailed expression of the most recent tabulation of land uses on an estimate. Residential use shows 35.85%, transport, utilities, and unclassified lands take up 25.45%, commercial use at 13.44%, institutional at 12.05%, industrial at 5.26%, parks and open spaces at 4.76%, and cemetery at 3.19%. Thus, this concludes our short introduction of Manila City.
Situated on a coastal lowland west of the Marikina Valley Fault System, Manila City lacks hills and steep slopes. Most of the city's natural variations in topography have been altered artificially. Therefore, its geography remains almost consistently flat all throughout. Due to heavy urbanization, most of the area's natural geologic landforms have long been gone. Manila City is a low-lying plain fed by the Pasig River Delta flowing into the Manila Bay. To the north, the city is bounded by the swampy delta of the Pampanga River, while to its northeast and east sides lie the highly urbanized regions enclosed by the southern range of the Sierra Madre. To its far southeast lies the origin of the Pasig River, Laguna de Bay, and past west of the Manila Bay is the mountainous region of Bataan. The average elevation of Manila City is only 5 meters above sea level. Due to this, Manila City is highly susceptible to massive storms and flooding, but is protected from other severities because of the natural boundaries of the bay and the Sierra Madre.
The city of Manila is located in the coastal lowland area. Ground elevation here ranges generally from 0 to 5 meters. Areas here also include reclaimed land as well as subsidized land. What underlies the majority of Manila City are unconsolidated sediments. This includes interbeds of different rocks and minerals, namely sandstone, siltstone, and mudstone, as well as claystone. This is the dominant lithology of Manila City. The soil classification of Manila City is frigid dipic argiseroles, which can be described as a deep, well-drained, and slowly permeable soil. In essence, frigid dipic argiseroles are silt loam soils that are ideal for plant growth, as they can effectively store water without forming cracks or sustaining damage below the surface. This makes the plain of Manila City ideal for agriculture, but since the city is now mainly urban, The soil conditions are also appropriate for architecture and engineering.
Manila is cornered by the Manila Bay and intersected by the Pasig River, making it a fertile land because of the groundwater reservoirs underneath its surface. Precipitation is also common and heavier during the rainy seasons, replenishing the natural water system beneath the city. However, Manila is at risk of becoming an underwater city due to a number of factors including climate change, uncontrolled groundwater use, and land subsidence. Moreover, given the yearly visiting of storms and typhoons in the country brings a complete hazard to the city, intertwined with the worsening land erosion and excessive pumping of groundwater. According to a research presentation by Dudas and others, land subsidence caused by the indiscriminate use of groundwater would lead to the worsening of floods brought about by typhoons and rising seawater levels in the city, so much that by the year 2050, it is estimated that Manila City could possibly be submerged underwater, similar to the well-known Sitio Nabong regarded as the underwater province located north of the city. In order to counter these adverse effects, the government is trying to enact stricter regulations against the unregulated use of groundwater in the city. In fact, about 60% of the country's groundwater extraction is done without permits. Furthermore, plans to relocate the government offices and capital state of Manila to another place are being progressed in order to relieve the city of extensive urbanization and overpopulation. Nevertheless, water shortage, pollution, and seawater intrusion persist as major problems to the groundwater status of Manila City.
The Philippines is one of the countries belonging to the Pacific Ring of Fire, which is caused by the movement of oceanic plates that goes under the continental plates during the subduction process. Due to this, the Philippines experiences frequent earthquakes and has numerous active volcanoes. The Philippine archipelago lies within two subducting plates, namely the Eurasian and the Philippine Sea Plate. Over the past few decades, the Philippines has experienced numerous earthquake and volcanic activities. To the east of offshore Manila, the Philippines fault zone can be located, which is considered as a left lateral strike slip fault. The Marikina Valley Fault System or West Valley Fault is the nearest active fault in Manila City, which is 10 kilometers east of the city, which may cause large damaging earthquakes in the near future. The Marikina Valley Fault does not move or is almost fully locked down, which means that it is gathering pressure as time passes by. According to DOST Volks, there are historic records suggesting that it slips or jolts every 200 to 400 years, 310 years on average, and the last noticeable jolt was reported to have occurred in 1658, which it was 359 years ago. In 1645, Manila City suffered one of its greatest earthquakes on record, a surface wave which had a strength of a 7.5 magnitude earthquake. It is one of the most historic earthquakes that took place in Manila City. The city is said to be the center of the Philippines' industrial development. It has a population of 14,158,573, which is at least when seismic activities with strength similar to that of 1645 earthquake will occur. According to Dr. Renato Solidum Jr., DOST Undersecretary for Disaster Risk Reduction and Climate Change Adaptation, a minimum of 34,000 people will die if the Marikina Valley Fault were to move and generate a 7.2 magnitude earthquake. Damages will also be incurred in lifelines such as water supply, infrastructures, roads, and telecommunications. The condensed population and the various non-engineered infrastructures will be the major hotspots for casualties when such a powerful earthquake were to occur. The DOST Undersecretary also stated that there will be a huge chance of economic paralysis in government agencies that will halt the development and constructions of the country.